Okay, so I just finished watching Dusk Beyond the End of the World, and I gotta say, the show keeps surprising me. When I finished episode 0, it felt like I was watching this grounded emotional romance, two people fumbling towards honesty. Then episode 1 ripped that away and dropped us into a totally different timeline. A world built on ruins, with Yugere as this relic of a forgotten age. And now episode 2, it's like the show saying, yeah, everything you thought about the story, just keep guessing. The first thing that stood out to me is just how playful this episode feels compared to the brutality at the end of episode 1. Yugere, this cloaked girl who wrecked Kanas and his squad, comes right out and asks Akira to marry her. Not only that, she pulls out the same ring Akira once gave Toasa, the girl he loved before the world fell apart. It's such a gut punch of a reveal. Akira immediately asks the question we're all thinking, are you Toasa? And Yugere just smiles with that wry little line, maybe, maybe not. Unfortunately for you, that's classified. That was so funny, I thought, and that moment hit me. On one hand, it's mysterious, almost cruel, but on the other, it's weirdly charming, like she's enjoying his confusion and playing with him. And it's the first sign we get that this anime isn't going to hand us easy answers. From there, I was reminded about something I really like about the show, the animation of the eyes. The animators draw them with this softness, almost painterly, and every time we get a close-up, there's this mix of warmth and melancholy going on, and I just think it's awesome. It's such a small detail, but it keeps me invested. Back in the village, Akira, Edie, and Wea regroup, and the man who betrayed them actually apologizes. But Akira and Yugere decide to leave, because staying only puts the villagers in more danger. And that's when we start to get a sense of Yugere's personality. She can't tell him about the present world. That's classified. She can't tell him why she wants to marry him. That's classified. It's funny and frustrating at the same time. Akira even says, who would marry someone they just met? And she just shoots back, guess you'll have to get to know me then. That kind of banter is one of my favorite dynamics in this episode, and I can see myself enjoying it as the series evolves. But the show doesn't let us stay in that comfort zone for too long. At the ruins where Akira first woke up, we meet two new androids, Hakubo and Yoyami, both with the exact face of Toasa. That was such a chilling reveal. It makes you question everything. Was Toasa ever real? Are these androids her replacements? Or is this just OL's way of playing God with identity? It really unsettled me, to be honest. Then comes maybe the most emotional beat of the whole episode. Edie gives Akira his old watch, with one last recorded message from Toasa. She tells him not to come looking for her, to be grateful for life, to move on. That line, my love and gratitude for you will last forever, was so interesting. And Akira immediately ignores it. He says he wants to look for her anyway. That broke me a little, because it's so human. You can be told to let go, but when it's someone you love, sometimes you just can't. After that, things take a lighter, almost comedic turn. Yugere climbs on top of him in this weird, suggestive moment. I do have those functions if you want to try it, she says. And after that, I just sat there like, wow, okay, the show is not afraid to mix up the tones. One minute it's devastatingly sad, the next it's almost like provocative and playful. So our travels take us to Oma, where we meet Amaru. She introduces us to the concept of Litogians, basically people who give up their rights to work off debts or crimes. Akira immediately likens it to slavery, I think, and Yugere just teases him, like, you're such a softie, but you can tell it's just another piece of this world's moral decay. I actually paused there and thought about how sci-fi worlds mirror our own systems. It's not exactly subtle, which makes it more interesting, I feel like. But we also learn Amaru's carrying a banned book called Bird of the Heart, written by her parents. She wants to follow in their footsteps, and you can feel her idealism clashing with the cruelty of the society. But when Marlem shows up, Kanas' cousin apparently, and he's just disturbing, maybe even worse, he exposes Amaru as one of these Litogians, and for a second, it feels like all hope is gone. And then again, Yugere just obliterates the guards in this incredible fight scene. The action in this anime is actually gorgeous. It's so fast, fluid, and brutal. But what I love most is what happens after. Akira wants to go back to save Amaru. Yugere, in her way, turns it into a bargain. If I rescue her, will you marry me? And his answer, calling her out for being an android, is just this perfect mix of resignation and defiance. He knows he can't trust her fully. That's pretty obvious, but he also can't stop caring. By the end of episode 2, I felt both exhilarated and deeply unsettled. This isn't just a romance anymore, or even just a sci-fi action show. It's kind of become this crazy roller coaster that continues to branch off in ways that I don't expect. But it's been exciting so far, and I'm really interested to see where the show goes from here. Before I wrap up, I wanted to note a comment I got on my last video that I read right before recording this one, and that was just on some of like the logical inconsistencies in the first 2 episodes. I will say I noticed a couple of the ones you pointed out, but not all of them, and some of them were pretty interesting. Like, I did think that Canis probably maybe could have been dead after the first kick that he received. And I do think it's pretty odd the way Akira doesn't speak about the like crazy situations that he was saved out of. Like afterwards, he just like happy-go-lucky and worried about like a paintbrush. So I definitely noticed some of those. But honestly, after watching Arcane season 1 and season 2, I think I gave up on looking for logical inconsistencies in like stories or motivations of characters, because seeing the reaction to that show, which is like overwhelmingly positive, after I watched that show, I felt like some of the like choices from characters were like super idiotic or didn't make any sense at all, and they were just there to push the story along. And I did love the story, and I loved Arcane, but I didn't really see that many people pointing those out. Maybe I didn't look enough, but since then I've kind of been able to ignore it a little bit more, I guess is my answer. Like, it just doesn't break the show for me, although I don't think that's what you were saying. So I definitely appreciate everyone's comments. That's my favorite part about making these videos. So let me know what you're looking forward to in the show, or how you view the last few episodes in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time.